Happy Tuesday and welcome into another edition of the PHNX Sun Devils Show. I am Anthony Totri. Today behind the Mac, we have the one, the only Jewel himself, Eric Ruby. We are going to be talking a lot of college basketball today, so buckle up, ladies and gentlemen, and Arizona State fans specifically, because thank God college basketball season is here. Arizona State, a little more than 24 hours away from taking on the Mississippi State Bulldogs as a part of that Barstool Sports Invitational to kick off the college basketball season for Bobby Hurley and the Arizona State Sun Devils. Look, man, it is certainly a interesting time to be an Arizona State sports fan, just based off of the fact that, yes, volleyball is doing well. Yes, hockey is doing well, but I know there are a lot of diehard fans out there that are a little bit eager for the football program to maybe take another step forward, and they're obviously getting to that point, but it's going to take a little bit longer in the Kenny Dillingham era to eventually get to that point where week in, week out, we're talking about Arizona State maybe being the team on the other side of a 52-point victory. But as it relates to Arizona State basketball, we're going to be talking a lot about the roster changes, maybe some intentions of players who can step up and really elevate themselves and put themselves on a national stage tomorrow night against Mississippi State. We've also got some predictions. We've also got some recruitment news that is not public yet that we're going to get into here in just a little bit, and then also take a look at what Mississippi State is going to be throwing on the hardwood tomorrow for Sun Devil Nation. Before we do all that, though, guys, I want to tell you just to go out, go to gophnx.com today, become a diehard. With that diehard membership, you are going to get a free t-shirt. We've got plenty of great merch, whether that be Diamondbacks related, Arizona State, the Coyotes, the Suns, the Cardinals. We've got it all over at that Go PHNX locker. Not to mention, when you become a diehard, you guys are going to unlock so many things, like our diehard Discord. Was chatting with some diehards in the Discord a little bit earlier this morning about some of the Sun Devil postgame shows, about that recruitment news that we're going to get into a little bit later. And then you're also going to get some phenomenal written content that we have from all of our writers. That includes Gerald with the Suns, Jesse with the Diamondbacks, Craig with the Coyotes, and so much more. But I know there's a lot of people in the chat excited that college basketball is here. LTC, we're hooping today. Absolutely. And Joe, what's up with this new setup? Beers flowing? Absolutely, baby. We got to take it to the Four Peaks mini bar when college basketball is back, because you know we're going to be throwing it back all night tomorrow when ASU tips off against that Mississippi State Bulldogs team. Now, looking at Arizona State, let's talk about it. The last time ASU fans saw a Bobby Hurley coach team on the hardwood, it was a heartbreaking loss to TCU. That round of 64, ASU falling 72-70, and it was a tough one, right? ASU had the lead in that game. DJ Horn had a chance to win it down there at the end, couldn't connect. DJ Horn's not here anymore. Desmond Cambridge, Warren Washington, Austin Nunez, Duke Brennan, Luther Muhammad, they're all gone, okay? House has been cleaned. The locker room looks completely different. The vibes, completely different. The players, completely different. The style of play, completely different. But with that completely different comes a new era of ASU basketball, in my personal opinion. I think Jamiya Neal is going to put a lot of people on notice tomorrow night. And in reality, through non-conference play, Jamiya Neal is going to be a household name in Tempe, if it's not already, because this kid is showing up and showing out in some of these ASU basketball scrimmages. I know there were a lot of people that were really hyped to see that this man scored 35 points in one of those scrimmages earlier in this preseason. So look, between Jamiya Neal, Frankie Collins, who is improved, he's trying to have a season that gets him to the league, right? A point guard that is trying to find himself in the way that is going to help him improve this ASU basketball team for the entire season, whether that be getting a bucket whenever he can, or being able to facilitate a Bobby Hurley offense, right? We are going to absolutely see the best of Frankie Collins this season. Now, the big question for him is, at what point do we get it? Are we going to get it in game 1, game 2? Or is it something that, like we saw last season, might take a little bit of time for him to actually get acclimated to this new look roster and to what Hurley's offense is going to look like this season? Obviously, ASU fans hoping it is sooner rather than later for Frankie Collins. Now you've also got a guy in Alonzo Gaffney, who we saw last year, big role player for this team. He had his highs, he had his lows. He is going to be out tomorrow against Mississippi State with a foot injury, so we'll see if he is able to get back sooner, again, rather than later when it comes to some of these non-conference games. I don't anticipate him playing on Saturday either, but you never know with some of these injuries. So we'll see what Alonzo Gaffney can do. Stephen Joseph, commenting in the chat, can't wait to see Jamiya this year. Gaffney too. Yeah, look, Jamiya Neal, he's a dog. He's an absolute dog. And I know last offseason there were a lot of people that were super, super hyped at his improvement. This year it's on him. Like we said earlier, no DJ Horn, no Desmond Cambridge, right? Jamiya Neal is scoring option number 1 for Arizona State. You are going to see that tomorrow. He is going to be firing shots. It is not going to be the Jamiya Neal that you saw last season where he takes just a handful of shots. Tomorrow night, Jamiya Neal's coming out party. You are going to absolutely see him go off. Caden in the chat, when do we know about Adam Miller? Look, Adam Miller, as it stands right now, there hasn't been an update on the waiver, at least as it relates to my information. However, I think we got a pretty good idea as to where the Adam Miller waiver is going to be going based off the fact that Hurley and company added Jose Perez just a couple weeks ago, right? So the expectation, Adam Miller probably not going to get that waiver cleared, but you never know. We saw a lot of weird things with the NCAA as it relates to football when it came to some of those waivers. Obviously, for Arizona State, didn't pan out. Wide receiver Jake Smith, safety Xavier Alford didn't get their waivers cleared. However, you saw with the UNC situation, they were able to get their wide receiver cleared a little bit later in the season. Again, the NCAA, super, super weird when it comes to some of these waiver situations. Joe in the chat, we have some revenge to handle Saturday. Oh, man, you don't even know. I know we're focused on Mississippi State, but yes, Texas Southern on Saturday, that's going to be a day that I know a lot of ASU fans and probably former ASU basketball players want to see a absolute blowout win in. And we'll get into Texas Southern a little bit later into the week because we're still focused on game 1 against Mississippi State. Getting back to what this roster looks like, we've talked about Jamiya. We've talked about Frankie. We've talked about Alonzo Gaffney. Tomorrow night, not only Jamiya Neal's coming out party, but it's the first time Sun Devil Nation gets a look at this new roster, right? Kamari Lands, Shawn Phillips Jr., Zane Meeks, Bryson Long, Malachi Davis, Bryant Salabunge, Jose Perez. There are so many new faces, and I think the exciting part is there are so many players that could really go off, not just tomorrow, but really the whole season. Last year, just take Devin Cambridge, for example. I know there were a lot of people when the Cambridge brothers got here, all eyes were on Dez, and rightfully so. Dez was the one that everybody expected to go ahead and be that bucket getter, and he was. Devin Cambridge provided a scoring piece to this team that I don't think a lot of people really appreciated, not to mention the energy, the Energizer Bunny himself that Devin Cambridge was when he was on the hardwood in an ASU uniform. You don't know what you're going to get, right? Bryant Salabunge could be the double-double machine that he used to be at ASU. That would be huge, right? What about Kamari Lands, Shawn Phillips Jr.? A lot of talk about their potential. Maybe they turn into scoring option number 2 and number 3 this season. Is this the first year that ASU has a dominant big man in Shawn Phillips Jr.? He's young. We'll see. What about Bryson Long? This guy was firing on all cylinders from behind the arc last season. Is he the three-point menace that maybe fans are expecting and hoping for? Because that could elevate this team that didn't have a whole lot of three-point shooting last season. And then, of course, Malachi Davis, the JUCO transfer, who at the end of his season, I believe at Tallahassee Community College or something crazy, was dropping 30, 40, 35 points in his last 6 stretch of games. His scoring average was ridiculous. Maybe he is the bench scorer that ASU is going to be turning to at some point this season. And then, of course, the freshman, right? Akil Watson, Braylon Green. Talked to Bobby Hurley last week, asking him just a little bit about how they're going to fit into the rotation. At that point, he said it's just kind of like a wait and see, right? Are these guys that are going to be playing similar minutes to what Austin Nunez and Duke Brennan did last season? Is Akil Watson going to be Duke Brennan 2.0, or is he going to be able to crash the glass the way Duke did and then also be able to provide a little bit on the scoring front? And then Braylon Green, is he the next great freshman basketball player to come out of Arizona State? I know there are a lot of people that hope so, but we'll see what the rotation looks like because this is a big team. There are a lot of forwards on this team. It surprisingly enough doesn't feel like there are a ton of guards. When you look at it, Jamiya can play. He could play the 1. He could play the 2. He could realistically probably play the 3. You got Frankie, who's a guard. You got Jose, that's a guard. Obviously, Ace Wolf, Adam Miller, we're not sure where his waiver is yet. Like I said earlier, doesn't look like it is going to get cleared, but he's a guard. Malachi Davis, a guard. So how much does Braylon Green play, right? Does he stand out? Maybe start stealing some minutes from some of those transfers. We will obviously take a look tomorrow night. LTC in the chat, the growth Neal has made just speaks to Bobby's talent evaluation prowess. Look, Jamiya Neal, man, I am so excited. I'm really so excited for college basketball to be back, but I'm even more excited to see Jamiya Neal play basketball tomorrow because I think there's everybody in Tempe is rooting for it to come together for him the way that they thought it was coming together last season. The injury last year, it definitely played a role in the rotation minutes that he was able to get. But this year, again, barring any injuries, knock on wood, Jamiya Neal will be the quote-unquote guy for ASU basketball this season. So buy stock now. I'm telling you right now, November 7th, a day before the game 1, buy stock in Jamiya Neal right now because he is going to be a household name in Tempe. And look, Bobby Hurley knows what tomorrow is. Tomorrow's a game that you put yourself on a national stage, okay? I know it's not March Madness. I know it's not conference play, but it's the first game of the season. Look what Colorado did to number 1 LSU when the women's college basketball season started yesterday, right? I believe Colorado was an unranked team, and they beat the number 1 team in the nation by nearly 20 points. You know how crazy that is? You know how crazy it is? And I know neither one of these teams are ranked going into this game, but Bobby Hurley wants to win this game by 30. Okay? Jamiya Neal could go for 30 tomorrow. Frankie Collins, he could go for a double-double tomorrow. Shawn Phillips Jr., who knows? Same with Kamari Lands, right? This is going to be the first look that ASU fans get, and I think Shane has said it in the past on this show with there is so much unknown, right? So much unknown about this ASU basketball team because you obviously haven't seen them. You obviously haven't seen them play yet, right? But there's a lot of fun that comes in the unknowns, right? Do we have a generational type player for ASU basketball in one of these freshmen? Who knows? But that's the fun part in it, right? Is you don't know what you're going to get with some of these guys. Joe in the chat, probably the toughest place to play in the country. Also saying, I'm so ready for the roller coaster that is Bobby Hurley coached a basketball team. Dude, look, I'll say it. The best part about Bobby Hurley teams is non-conference play, man, because when it comes to non-conference play, Bobby Hurley teams know exactly what they're doing. Obviously, Pac-12 play seems to be a little bit of a different animal for Hurley's basketball teams, but we're in non-conference play, baby. And ASU basketball knows exactly what to do when it comes to non-conference play. Specifically last season, when you look at neutral site non-conference games, ASU was 3-0 last year in those games. They beat Creighton 73-71. They beat Michigan 87-62. That was a phenomenal game from the Sun Devils last year. And they also beat VCU in the Legends Classic 63-59. So ASU basketball, certainly a solid team when it comes to those neutral site non-conference games. We're going to continue this conversation about ASU basketball in the start of their season tomorrow. But before we continue that conversation, I want to tell you guys a little bit about Desert Financial. Desert Financial Credit Union. They are a new partner for us, and we are so damn excited to have them on board, guys. For more than 84 years, Desert Financial has been Arizona's largest, most trusted local credit union dedicated to creating exceptional experiences by giving back to the community and providing financial solutions that make lives better. Now, if you're an Arizona sports fan, there's no better place to do your banking than Desert Financial Credit Union. It's the only place you can show your team spirit every time you make a purchase with exclusive debit cards branded with your favorite teams. Bring the boom and get fired up with the Arizona State University Visa debit card. Now is the time to show your ASU team spirit. Open a free checking account online and get $200. Place your choice of 3 Arizona State University Visa debit cards. Go to desertfinancial.com/ASU to get started. Now, you're going to go out there and you're going to get a brand new debit card. So you might as well make a brand new spanking purchase on maybe some new flooring for a new home, a new apartment. Maybe it's not new. Maybe you're just looking to do a little bit of a remodel. And Empire today, guys, they are going to help you do it. You get shop at home convenience, the right product for your needs, quick and professional installation, and a price match guarantee. Okay, Empire Today, the best place to get new flooring. So, of course, they're going to have some copycats, but Empire Today, they can't be beat on quality, service, and speed, like you're going to see from that ASU basketball team tomorrow night. Now, Empire Today, keep shopping for floors simple with a curated product selection. Their philosophy is to help you find what you need, not overwhelm you with thousands of choices and substitutes. They're going to help you get exactly what you need. Now, if you do this today, guys, schedule a free in-home estimate today. Free. All listeners are going to receive a $350 off discount when they use that promo code PHNX. That adds up, guys. Restrictions apply. See empiretoday.com/PHNX for details. Now, getting back to ASU basketball against Mississippi State on Wednesday night. We got JJ in the chat. I know JJ has been excited really since the day after the round of 64 loss last year. He's every day looking for basketball talk, and that's exactly what we're bringing. Hoops today. Also asking, can we give Adam Miller a damn waiver already? Look, man, I think it's time to just start a petition. Can we get one of those what are those called, Eric? The sign up things? I know they're petitions, but there's a sign up. There's a specific site that you sign up, and I don't know, maybe we can get something working to see if the NCAA will pull their head out of their ass and give Adam Miller the waiver that he needs and that ASU fans are praying and hoping for, because if Adam Miller gets his waiver cleared, guys, this is a scary team. I'm going to go out and say this. If Adam Miller gets his waiver cleared, ASU basketball is going to be a top 4 seed in the Pac-12 tournament. I'm absolutely going to run away with that statement, okay? Adam Miller makes this team a wildly diverse team in terms of scoring, in terms of being able to play different guard looks, because I know we don't know a whole lot about what Malachi Davis is going to bring to this team, just in terms of how his game is going to translate from that JUCO level to Division I. Adam Miller from LSU, dude, he knows what he's doing. So being able to throw him into the mix with Jamiya, with Frankie, with the potential of Malachi, he's got the connection that maybe needs to unlock his full potential, right? We saw the connection last year between former teammates in Devin Cambridge, Warren Washington, some of those guys. So it is going to be a unique situation. We'll see if Adam Miller gets that waiver. Again, I don't necessarily think that's exactly what is going to happen, but we will see. Joe in the chat, shout out for Desert Financial for the $50 gift card to Barnes & Noble that they gave my kids during the homecoming parade. Yeah, absolutely. DFCU, man, they know exactly what they are doing. Now, taking a look at Mississippi State for ASU fans, you get a little bit of an idea of to what you're going to see. And what you're going to see, or I guess what you're not going to see, is Mississippi State's best player, okay? Tolu Smith. He's going to be out with a foot injury until about mid-January. And then senior guard Shaquille Moore is going to be out for 2 games due to violations of team rules. Now, if you're looking at Mississippi State last season, Tolu Smith, he's a forward, led the team in points per game with 15.7. He led the team in rebounds with 8.5, and he led the team in blocks with 0.7. This is a guy that truly did everything for Mississippi State last season. ASU doesn't have to worry about him. That is huge looking at tomorrow night's game. Now, they obviously got some transfers just like ASU did, and they do bring back some talent, but looking at some of those transfers, they got Jimmy Bell Jr. from West Virginia and Andrew Taylor, who is a great scorer from Marshall. So we will see what those guys can do. But rest easy if you're an ASU fan, knowing that the best player on that Bulldogs roster is not going to be playing due to that foot injury. Does suck because he is going to be missing significant time, again, until about mid-January, from what I can see from some of these reports. So it's, you obviously want to play a team at full strength, but I think it is going to help Bobby Hurley's team if they do start out slow, which is something that we saw from Arizona State last season, right? They weren't able to really start off hot. They hung their hat on their defensive ability, and when they were scoring in bunches. And a lot of it had to do with, we're just going to let Des Cambridge and DJ Horn fire it away. They're going to be taking some bad shots. If they make it, they make it. They look amazing. If they don't, then, you're just going to have to win a defensive dogfight. I don't think that's going to be the case this season. I think, yes, the defense is probably going to take a step back just based off the fact that you are losing some really, really good on-ball defenders like Luther Muhammad, like Des and Devin Cambridge. But you return Frankie Collins, you return Jamiya Neal, two guys defensively that know exactly what they're doing. And then Bryant Selabunge, another awesome defensive player transferring to Arizona State. So as it relates to Mississippi State, again, they are going to be without some of their key players, which certainly should help Arizona State. Now, JJ in the chat, spread went from 5.5 to -4.5 for Mississippi State. I'm going to be honest, guys. We'll get into my prediction a little bit later, but I kind of want to hammer Arizona State money line. Arizona State money line because let's be real, Bobby Hurley, he knows exactly how to start off the season. I believe ASU is 7-1 in season openers under Coach Hurley. Just saying, bodes well. Now, if you are going to be placing a bet on Arizona State or on college basketball in general, the DraftKings Sportsbook app is the place to do it. Now, if you don't want to bet on college basketball, you could bet on the NBA. You could bet on the NHL. You could bet on the NFL as well because we are fully through midway of this NFL season. So it's time to start asking some tough questions, guys. Who are the pretenders? Who are the contenders? And like I said, we're more than halfway through that NFL season, but DraftKings Sportsbook is still pumping out unbeatable offers every single game. New customers can bet just $5 on anything to get $200 instantly in bonus bets. And DraftKings isn't stopping there. All customers can take advantage of a sweeter offer every single game day. Okay, now my DraftKings Sportsbook pick of the week. Give me that Arizona State money line. Give me that Arizona State money line over Mississippi State on Wednesday night. Like I said, Hurley, 7-1 in season openers, sporting that maroon and gold. Jamiya Neal, that coming out party. Mississippi State, missing their top player. I like the Devils, even if you want to maybe hammer that spread, ASU +4.5, +5.5. I really think Bobby Hurley's team comes out and gets that first dub of the season. Now, again, just want to make sure everyone's on the same page. Get in on the action with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Download the app now and use that code PHNX. New customers, again, can bet just $5 on anything to get $200 instantly in bonus bets only at DraftKings Sportsbook with that code PHNX. The crown is yours. Now, gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.1800gambler.net in New York. Call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369 in Connecticut. Help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly on behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort licensee partner Golden Nugget Lake Charles. 21 plus, age varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. See sportsbook.draftkings.com/football terms for eligibility and deposit restrictions, terms, and responsible gaming resources. Now, Arizona State does tip off a little bit later tomorrow night. I know ASU football, they've got practice in the morning, so I'll be there, and then I got to come to the office, I got to watch a game. I got to be all over the valley tomorrow, which means I'm going to need to stop at Circle K to fill up and also get some snacks. But while we're talking about Circle K, let's go ahead and mention their new free membership program where you guys can save 25 cents per gallon on your first 5 fill-ups and save 3 cents per gallon every single day. Guys, that adds up. It's gonna make a difference. Now, get every 6 free on a selection of Circle K products, whether that be pizza, coffee, ice cold fountain drinks, or maybe that's not necessarily what you want. Head into Circle K. I'm sure that they have something for you. Join Inner Circle for free by downloading that Circle K app today. Terms and conditions apply at participating locations. Visit CircleK.com for details. LTC in the chat. Totri's Chargers showed up last night. Hell yeah, that defense knew exactly what they were doing. I believe 3 takeaways, 8 sacks. Come on now. There was never any doubt with Zach Wilson at quarterback. Are you kidding me? Khalil Mack, Thule, Joey Bosa, they all ate last night. Now, Justin Herbert, I'm talking to you, man. That offense, we need to figure it out. Okay? We need to figure it out. But this is not a Chargers podcast. JJ in the chat. Wow, the Totri hammer. Damn it, JJ. Yeah, absolutely. We're hammering Arizona State money line. That's exactly what we are doing. Also, JJ, I love that you're back in the chat consistently, and I know you're going to be back in the chat consistently with basketball season here because, look, let's be real. Arizona State, we got football games, we got basketball games, we got hockey games, we got volleyball, softball season's right around the corner, baseball season's right around the corner, guys. The PHNX Sun Devils Show is the place for all the news, all the information that you guys need and want. So do Bobby Hurley a solid. Hit that like button. He's always begging. He's always pleading. Also, give us a subscription, I guess, or subscribe and turn on your notifications for any time that we do go live. Now, I want to talk a little bit about that recruitment news that I mentioned earlier. I dropped it in the Die Hard Discord a little bit earlier, so if you were a Die Hard, you saw it. But I don't want to spoil a commitment. I don't want to spoil a high schooler's big day, so I'm not going to do that. But I will say it is looking really promising that Arizona State is going to be getting a class of 2024 point guard commitment sometime today, maybe sometime tomorrow as well. He's a big one. He is a 3-star point guard, about 6'4". He is going to help this team when he does drop that commitment news. Choosing Arizona State, it is going to add to this class of 2024 that is already a sizable class. Quite literally a bunch of 6'8" dogs. And now you're adding a potential 6'4" point guard that should be huge for Arizona State. Again, I'm not going to drop the name, but there's just some of that information there. We will obviously have more on that when that news does officially break. Again, I don't want to go ahead and spoil this kid's commitment because I know it's a big day for him. But getting back to the game for tomorrow, without further ado, let's go ahead and get into trending up. 3 players trending up for Arizona State in game 1. Starting off with Frankie Collins. I talked about it. Frankie Collins was an absolute animal for Arizona State at certain points last season. Now, I know his numbers aren't crazy. Averaged 9 points per game, 4 boards, 4 assists, 1 steal, shot 40% from the field. I'm expecting him to elevate that this season. I'm also expecting him to elevate his free throw percentage at 62%. When you're the starting point guard at D1 level, you got to be able to shoot from the charity stripe better than that. I think Frankie Collins is going to do that. I also think Frankie Collins is going to be able to find the rhythm and the synergy that he needs to be able to score when he needs to, and he's going to be able to facilitate when he needs to, because there are a lot of guys on this team, and I think there are going to be some scoring options not at that point guard position that Frankie's going to need to deliver that ball to. So exciting to see Frankie Collins tomorrow night. This is the big one, though. Jamiya Neal also trending up for Arizona State. Look, I don't know if there's going to be a dude that has a bigger jump in numbers this season than Jamiya Neal in the Pac-12. Averaging just 4 points per game last season, 2 rebounds, 1 assist. The numbers weren't great, right? But you look at the way this man shot, especially late in the season. Shot 41% from the field. Again, 62% from the charity stripe. That needs to improve. And just 29% from behind the arc. This year, that is going to change. Okay? I'm telling you. This is not an if. This is Jamiya Neal is going to be the leading scorer on this team. He is a phenomenal rebounding guard. I think he could average 5 boards a game, along with at least 10 to 15 every single night. And then who knows what he's going to look like in terms of being able to facilitate the basketball. Jamiya Neal is, in my personal opinion, he's going to play himself into a dominant season and potentially in the conversation for some Pac-12 end of the year awards. And ASU fans should be so damn excited to see Jamiya Neal tomorrow night, because Jamiya Neal is going to be the reason that Arizona State could potentially win that game against Mississippi State on Wednesday night at that Barstool Sports Invitational. Now, the final guy on trending up, Kamari Lands. Kamari Lands. He had himself a hell of a scrimmage. I want to say that was against San Jose State. It could have been against San Diego State as well, but he had a hell of a scrimmage, and I'll be honest with you, I was surprised at the way that he was able to score in that scrimmage. I did not expect Kamari to be the scoring option going into this season, but Who knows? I might be more excited to see Kamari Lands tomorrow than anyone else on this roster because of what he is going to bring to the table. JJ Totri, need your starting five. I will get there. Caden in the chat. Kamari is either going to be a bust or one of our best players. No in between. I think he's going to be one of the better players, to be honest with you. I think he is going to be the Devin Cambridge of last season. A guy that you, going into the year, you don't really know what you're going to get from him. But when you see what he's capable of, night in and night out, when other guys go missing, Kamari is going to be the guy that holds firm, that holds strong. And he's a big dude too. I think he's going to help this roster in more ways than one. Before I get to my prediction, I want to answer JJ's question in terms of that starting five. So here is my starting five going into the first game of the season for Bobby Hurley's Sun Devils. You got Frankie Collins at the 1. I think that's pretty clear. I think you are going to get Jamiya Neal at the 2. I think you are going to get... this is tough. This is tough for me. I kind of want to say that you are going to get... Kamari. I think you get Kamari at the 3, and that's crazy because Kamari's big. Kamari is an absolute giant at small forward. And then you could argue Bryant Selabunge at 4, Shawn Phillips at the 5. Shawn Phillips will start at the 5. So I think you have a guaranteed 1, 2, and 5. It's a little bit more of a tricky situation since Alonzo Gaffney is out. What do you guys think? What does the chat think in terms of a starting 5 for Arizona State tomorrow night? Now, Jose Perez is a little bit of an X factor for me because I do see a situation where Frankie starts at 1, Jose starts at 2, Jamiya starts at 3, Kamari starts at 4, and then Shawn Phillips starts at 5. That is another potential option. So, honestly, that's where I'm going to go. I know you want Zane Meeks in that starting 5, JJ. I don't think you're going to get it. I think you're going to get Frankie 1, Jose Perez at the 2, Jamiya at the 3, Kamari at the 4, Shawn Phillips at the 5. That is my official starting 5 for Arizona State's first game of the season against Mississippi State. We'll see if it changes. We'll see what this rotation looks like. That's another giant question for this team is who's playing how many minutes, right? You don't really know until you get out there. I think it's going to be interesting to see what Braylon Green, Akeel Watson, how they fit into this rotation. It's going to be unique. JJ in the chat, Collins, Perez, Neal, Lands, Phillips. Yeah, absolutely. Me and JJ, we got the same exact starting 5. If JJ's got it, I feel comfortable about it. I'm interested to see who the first man off the bench is. If it's going to be Malachi, if it's going to be Zane, maybe Bryson. It is going to be a lot of fun. JJ, if Miller is cleared, 4-guard lineup, I don't think you get a 4-guard lineup just based off of the fact that there's so many damn forwards on this team. I think if Ace gets cleared, you go Frankie, Ace, Jamiya, Kamari, Shawn Phillips, and Jose is the first one off the bench. That's probably what happens. Now, if they want to go small, I think they could. I don't think Jamiya is big enough to play the 4 for my liking, but we'll see what happens with Arizona State. But I told you to hammer the money line, and I did it for a reason because this is my prediction for Arizona State's game against Mississippi State in that Barstool Sports Invitational. I got the Sun Devils coming out on top, 77-67 over Mississippi State. I think Arizona State gets the job done. Jamiya Neal, he's going to cook. Frankie Collins, he's going to find it. Kamari Lands, he's going to be a difference maker. Who knows what you're going to get from Jose Perez, Malachi Davis, some of those other guys. Guys, basketball season is back. College basketball season is back, and I am so damn excited because, look, if you're an Arizona State fan, you have had a up and down fall, right? Every single Saturday you tune in for Arizona State. Sometimes you see growth. Sometimes you see the team losing by 52, and it's tough. You don't know what to do, right? And there's a lot of people that love volleyball, love hockey, and respect to those teams because they're absolutely killing it in their respective sports. But college basketball is back, and there are people that have been itching, that have been scratching to see these teams on the hardwood, and I know JJ is one of them. And it's back, guys. Tomorrow night, ASU basketball against Mississippi State, and you know the only place for a post-game show right after the game, right here, the PHNX Sun Devils show. It is going to be an absolute baller time, and we're going to have a blast. Win, loss, whatever. We got some new graphics for you guys. Hopefully we get to drop that win music because we haven't done it a whole hell of a lot on the football games. So definitely tune in. And when ASU gets back in the Valley, go check them out, guys. Go check them out because the tickets are cheap as hell. I think I looked the other day and you could get ASU basketball tickets for like $15. The best place to do it, Game Time. They literally are the best place to get tickets. You can snag tickets without the stress with Game Time. Download that Game Time app, create an account, and use that code PHNX for $20 off your first purchase. Okay, guys, terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code PHNX for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. When you sign up and use that code PHNX, again, for that $20 off your first purchase, literally, you're going to get your ASU basketball tickets for free because of how cheap they are. Now, one more thing. We spent the morning at Putting World. First off, I didn't know they had bomb food like that. I didn't know that they were just going to be whipping up some breakfast burritos that actually smack. But if you've never been, North Scottsdale, it's like a 2-story complex. It's not just like your normal putt-putt. Like, this is like competitive. It is like he brought his own putter in here. The course is dope as hell. They've got some 1,000,005 different TVs. They've got food. They got a bar. They really do have it all. So go to puttingworld.com to check them out today and be on the lookout for a PHNX and Putting World event coming soon. It's going to be an absolute blast, guys. Any final comments in the chat before we get out of here? LTC in the chat. Work them refs, Bobby. Oh, my goodness. I can't wait to see the first Bobby Hurley red in the face photo from tomorrow's game because it doesn't matter win, loss, or draw. Bobby Hurley is always going to be animated on that hardwood. And then JJ show up on Saturday at DFA against Texas Southern. Revenge game. It is absolutely going to be a revenge game on Saturday for Arizona State. Saturday is going to be a packed day because ASU football plays UCLA. We're going to have a post-game show for that. ASU basketball plays Texas Southern. We're going to have a post-game show for that. So stay locked in. Stay ready. PHNX_Sun Devils. You can follow us there on social. Now, you can follow me on social at Anthony_Totri. You can follow our great producer, Ann, who is going to be, I believe, co-hosting that Son of a postgame show with me tomorrow night, hopefully. So follow him at Eric Ruby, ERIKRUBY. On your way out, leave a like, leave a 5-star review. 2 things before we get out of here, guys. Go Devils, and peace.